We're joined by Bert Kreischer, who is actually in Siberia today, and I want to talk about some of the towns in Texas that Bert is hitting on his Birdie Boy Relapse Tour later this year. Going to be a whole bunch of dates. December 2nd in Austin. December 3rd, Sugarland, which basically Houston. December 4th in Grand Prairie. And then get over to West Texas. December 9th in Abilene. So our listeners at Abilene, Bert's going to be at the Taylor County Expo Center on December 9th. And then the following night in El Paso at the Abraham Chavez Theater. So we're talking to Bert from Siberia. Hi, Bert.
Oh, I'm in Serbia. They've messed up.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe they wrote Siberia, and I have not like full-on dyslexia, but Serbia. Just enough.
You did it again.
Did I do it again?
Yeah.
No. I said it again.
Serbia. I have full-blown dyslexia. I do that constantly.
Let me see. Now, it does say Serbia. And
Serbia
my brain just translated it into Siberia.
Look, could you focus on the interview with Brad Kreischer, please?
So you're filming your movie about your relationship with Russian mobsters, I guess, right?
Yeah, we've been shooting for about almost 2.5 months. We have another month left, and it's been the most crazy life experience I've ever had.
Well, crazier than the stories you've told about the thing that the movie's based on, because that sounds pretty hard to top.
I'll be honest with you. I'm watching them film it. Like I'm in like 95% of the movie, but the 5% I'm not in is flashbacks to when I was younger, and I'm watching the actor playing me as a younger me say things like, "Hey, my name's Bert. I don't go to class much," and I'm having like the most experience looking at that going, I said that. Now that's in a movie. Like, who would have thought that would pay off and make its way into a movie?
Who's playing you? Do you know, did you take the guy out drinking so he could get a real feel for the machine?
I think I burned him into the ground the first couple of days. We took him out to this burlesque, and we ended up getting in the VIP booth so that we could be COVID safe, so that we didn't have anyone around us, and we had like 15 of our crew with us, and they gave us sparklers and fake ones to throw at the women. It was insane, and he came to work the next day. He was like, "That was the greatest night of my entire life." His name's Jimmy Tatro. He's awesome. He's like one of my favorite actors, and my wife and I saw him in this TV show called The Guest Book. And immediately she's like, that guy should play young you. And we reached out, and that was the only person we looked at. We didn't look at anyone else. He is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
So when you went to a burlesque club, was that as to film a scene or as just to go out to a burlesque club?
Well, it was the only time where I had the whole cast, or the majority of the cast, together. And so I wanted to take the cast out for dinner. And so we went to this restaurant, and we sat down, and then the manager recognized me, and he's like, we do burlesque inside. I was like, yeah, we need to be outside because of COVID. We're under still, even though everything's opened up and everyone's vaccinated, there is kind of COVID protocol. And so they were like, there's a secluded booth where you would be, where no one else can come in, and you guys can wear masks in there. And we were like, great. So we took the mask down when we partied, but we sat in. It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Now you guys are following COVID protocol. How about the rest of Serbia? How does it compare to like Southern California, I guess?
I don't know. I haven't been in the States since everyone got vaccinated. So I know for a fact we were wearing masks up like the first month anywhere, and now it's opened up in Serbia. I mean, there's a period. Serbian men are a little more manly than us. I wore a mask into a restaurant, and a guy spit on me one time. So I was like, okay, never mind. So
wait, was that Serbia or Amarillo? Because
that was Serbia. That was Serbia. And so right now, I mean, every restaurant's open. People go into restaurants. I try to eat outdoors just because of COVID protocol. We get tested 3 times a week, and we've been very lucky throughout the shoot, and that everyone's vaccinated and everyone's staying safe. So. But everyone wears masks on set. It's still that.
all I had to hear was Fauci and what's the doctor's name from the CDC? Dr. Walensky. Like when they went on TV and said, hey, if you've been vaccinated, you don't have to wear your mask anymore. That was it. I could have just burned them all right then because I figured, hey, I've earned this. I deserve it. I got vaccinated. I've been wearing a mask and socially distancing. So I was all in as soon as they said it was okay.
Yeah, once they said it was okay, I'm the same way. Like, and now I bring a mask with me. If you go into the grocery store, people still wear them in there. But most restaurants you go to, I eat outside, and so that's the safest I stay. And then when we have gone inside the restaurants, they're usually socially distant. Like they give you your secluded area where no one's around you except for the waiter who's wearing a mask. But
you're talking Serbia.
I'm ready to get home.
You're talking Serbia or LA? I'm
talking Serbia.
Serbia.
I haven't even been to the States. I don't even know what's going on in the States.
Brandon, you want to give Bert a rundown of what basically the COVID protocol's been?
Civil war
here?
has completely broken out.
Yeah.
We are now factioned between an eastern and western United States, and it's kind of split by the rock.
And it looks like super intelligent apes have taken over like a munitions depot. So like no.
Oh. I was getting updates from the other side of the wall with Rogan, who is texting. He's like, Texas is amazing. I went to a restaurant. I sat next to a man who was 3 feet away from me. The guy sneezed and I had my mouth open.
So when do you get back to the U.S.? How long are you going to be in Serbia before you come back to the States?
I'm in Serbia for another month. I got one more month, and then and then I fly from here to Atlantic City to start my tour.
Kind of give us the rundown of the movie. I'm going to assume it's The Machine, so it's going to be, the story that you told on stage, which has become this epic, famous story that everybody knows about. So how does the movie, does it vary from the actual story much, or is it just basically a retelling of your story?
The story is me and my dad, who's played by Mark Hamill, get kidnapped by the Russian mafia, and that's basically the log line. It's like The Hangover meets Midnight Run, so it's pretty intense. And we have with a little bit of Godfather too, because there's flashbacks to when I'm a kid and I was in Russia, and we kind of retrace my steps, and it's pretty fun, man. It's a lot more than I thought it would be. Like, it's not just a straight comedy, but it's a straight comedy. And it's not an action movie, but it's definitely an action movie, if that makes sense.
When you say flashback to when you were a kid, are you talking about like your childhood or when you were like a young man, when the machine happened? When
I was 22 and I got involved with the Russian mafia.
Oh, okay.
So that flashback is to then, and then Jimmy Tatro plays me when I was in college.
You got time? Take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about the tour that's coming up. Talk more about being in Serbia.
Of course, yeah.
Is Mark Hamill there? Is he like in like a couple rooms down? You want to go over and wake up?
He's
Mark
in hair
Hamill?
and makeup right now.
Yeah. Well, Bert Kreischer's coming through Texas again. Those dates are going to be in December, starting in Austin, but he's going to make a stop in Abilene. So we got our listeners out there at Rock 108 who could go see Bert Kreischer December 9th in Abilene at the Taylor County Expo Center, and then the following night in El Paso at the Abraham Chavez Theater. So that's going to be December 10th. All right, we're back with Bert Kreischer, who's in Serbia, not Siberia, and he is filming the movie The Machine. Mark Hamill plays your dad. When I heard Mark Hamill was in the movie, I thought, yeah, Mark Hamill could play anything. He could be like one of the Russian mobs. He could be like the head of the Russian mob. He's such a... I don't think Mark Hamill gets the credit for being as great an actor as he is.
I don't think he does. Well, I mean, I think he got put onto this all-star team with Star Wars with Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford, and I think, despite being the story is Mark's story with Luke Skywalker, I think he probably is the guy that didn't crave stardom. He just craved acting, and so nothing that the other two did. But I think he just put in the work. And we do a scene towards the end of the movie, and it's extremely moving. It's extremely moving, and man, he put on the gas with his acting chops, and I started crying. And they're like, hey, man, you're not supposed to cry. And I was like, yeah, but he's doing such a good job. I can't help it.
Were you an insane Star Wars fan? Because you're in that age group where, I was just nuts for Star Wars when I was a kid. So
yeah, I mean, look, I told him the other day, I've been with him almost every day for 2.5 months, and I was like, I forgot I wanted to be you when I was growing up. I forget that. I don't see him as that. I see him as my dad in this, and I spend so much time with him that you forget he's Luke Skywalker. Well, I had Luke Skywalker and Chewbacca. I wanted to be Luke Skywalker, and I wanted a Chewbacca with me. I think that's why I hang out with Tom Segura.
Wait a minute. You're Luke and Segura is your Chewbacca?
Oh, hell yeah. If he takes his shirt off, he looks just like Chewbacca.
Mark Hamill was in this. I don't know if you've seen this on Comedy Central, but they did a TV version of What We Do in the Shadows. Did you see him on that? He plays the vampire.
Yeah, no, he's amazing in that. I keep saying... everyone keeps saying, "Oh, Mark's going to surprise everyone." When everyone sees this movie, they're going to be blown away. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised. I think everything he's ever done has been good, and I think people are just going to be reminded of how great he is. He really is funny as crap. I mean, I was saying to my friend, I was like, I'm not funnier than Mark in this movie. And I was telling Segura, and he was like, "Who cares?" He goes, "As long as the movie's funny, right?" I was like, I know, but I'm the comedian. Like, he's Luke Skywalker. I'm the comedian. I should be getting the laughs. He's like, as long as it's getting the laughs, that's all that matters.
Did you watch The Mandalorian? Because, spoiler, he shows up in one of the episodes.
Oh, no, I didn't watch The Mandalorian. I'm like Burr. I'm not the hugest Star Wars fan, but I understand the impact it had.
You know what?
Bill Burr's in it.
Bill Burr. He got in the movie.
And look, hey, spoiler alert, Burr hasn't seen it either, okay?
Bert had a pretty big role. I mean, not Bert.
Bill Burr.
Bill had a pretty big role. He was like in multiple episodes. I thought
He's been in both seasons.
Because Brian Posehn was in it, and when we talked to Brian Posehn, he's like, yeah, I'm well known to be such a big Star Wars fan. They put me in it. So I figured the same with Bill Burr, but I guess... No.
Burr was at dinner with... I'm sure I'm not supposed to tell the story, but whatever. Burr was at dinner with Favreau, and Favreau was like, "Hey, man, I'm doing The Mandalorian. Are you interested?" And I guess Bill's wife kicked him under the table. Bill's like, "Nah." And his wife kicked him under the table, and he was like, "Okay, I'm
in." Did you bring your wife and kids over since you've been in Serbia for so long? Are they with you?
My wife is an executive producer on the movie, so she came over to watch the first week of production, but she's out. She's on vacation. She was just in Montana. Now she's in Alabama. They're going to the beach after this. She's partying. She doesn't care.
Tell us the craziest thing that's happened since you've been out of the country.
Probably I'll tell you the funniest thing is we start the movie, and my dad calls, and he's like, "Hey, when do you need me to come over?" And I said, I don't. And he goes, "Well, Mark needs to get to know me if he's going to play me."
Right, that's how I'd feel.
And I go, "Dad, it's not you." And he goes, "Well, it sounds like me." I go, "No, it's not you. It's a character. He's an actor. He's doing a character that is my father." He goes, "But I'm your father." I said, "Oh, I know." And he goes, "Well, what's his character's name?" I was like, "Well, it's Albert Kreischer." And he goes, "That's my name." I go, "Well, I know." He goes, "Where does he live?" I said, "Florida." He goes, "I live in Florida." He goes, "It sounds like he's playing me." And my mom goes, "Albert, this is a movie. You need to let go of this. This is a movie, and there's no attachment. It's an actor and a script." And I go, "Yeah, Dad, Mom's character's dead in this." And she goes, "I'm dead." I go, "Yeah." She goes, "How did I die?" I go, "I don't know. We don't really talk about it in the script." She goes, "You don't mention how I died? You don't have a mother, and you don't mention how I died." I'm like, "Oh, my God."
Are you keeping up with all the podcasts you do? Are you hooked up to podcast? Not just your podcast, but all the other ones you're on, too.
Yeah, so Burr and I are doing ours once a week. My Bertcast comes out every Wednesday, I think, and we've backlogged those. And then we've been having guest hosts for Two Bears, One Cave that have quite honestly been better than me every episode. Felipe Esparza is on this week, and we listened to it on the ride to work the other day, me and my cousin Andrew, who's with me. And he is probably the best guest host. Him, Mark Norman. We've had a bunch of great guest hosts on Two Bears.
I got to find from the Two Bears podcast, Esparza is telling the story about people who asked for free tickets. It's just...
He goes, let me tell you, I laughed so hard. He goes, hey, this guy calls him up. He's like, "Hey, my mom died of coronavirus. my brother has epilepsy. My other brother got shot in a drive-by. I was wondering if you can give me some free tickets. And Felipe says, hey, listen, man, no offense, but I can't have you bringing that bad luck to my show. and then he says, listen, I can't have a stage light fall on someone's head because you're there.
Speaking of other comics, are you taking openers or a feature with you on the road when you're back in the States?
Oh, yeah. I look at the road very different than I used to. I used to just be me and another guy. Now I just turn it into a party. And I bring all the comics that the bus will fit, and everyone goes up, and everyone does like 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and we have fun. People bail out halfway through the tour, go on another tour. I just try to make it a party.
Can you throw out a few names? Like who are some of the people that you're either bringing or you would like to bring?
Yeah, Mark Normand is open for me on a bunch of dates.
Yep.
Shane Torres, Dave Williamson, Jesus Trejo. It's a great group, a really great group.
Yeah, Jesus is a really good friend. He was in that Sullivan's and Son with Burr. So
yeah, Jesus is the best.
You can check out a lot of shows coming up in Texas. Most of those look like they're in the month of December, and when it gets over to Abilene, that's going to be December 9th. The following night is going to be in El Paso. Are you doing any international dates on this tour, or is it just U.S.?
Yeah, I have a huge tour that ends in Moscow, starts in Asia and ends in Moscow. And we had to postpone it because of coronavirus, but I think we're going to pick it back up in the spring, I think.
How much is the deal where, the cancel culture deal? I hear Rogan talk about it from time to time, and Bill Burr talks about it from time to time. I mean, is that just like a chilling thing hanging over the world of comedy, or what's your take on it?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a chilling thing. I mean, I think for some people it is. I think some people have done some dirt in their past where they're worried it's going to get pulled back up. I mean, for me, I mean, I've said so much stuff on podcasts. If I worried myself about all the stuff I said on podcasts that was cancelable, I'd be up all night. So,
Right.
I mean, I look at it this way. If you're a fan of mine and you buy my tickets, you know who I am. You've listened to me on podcasts. You've listened to enough hours where you know my personality, and you know that I'm a good person. And I don't cheat on my wife. I don't hit my kids. I don't drink and drive. That's it. And so, I say messed up stuff, but I'm a comic. I'm supposed to. So I think, I definitely pay attention to it, but I don't think I think it makes comedy a little fun again, because when you do hear something, that is you're like, oh, you hit your friend, and it reminds you of when you were in 7th grade and you were in the back of the bus and you heard Sam Kinnison's lick the alphabet joke, and you're like, shut up! That's what comedy should be. It should be dangerous and fun and kind of a little risky,
It seems like we went through a period like when Andrew Dice Clay was selling out stadiums. It was like, oh, this is just a race to see who can say the most shocking thing. That's you got to say something to shock. And now it's like, well, you can't say that. We haven't had that kind of attitude toward comedy, for 50 years. And then all of a sudden it's coming back around. I think it's a pendulum, man. I think we just happen to be on a swing of the pendulum where it's like, oh, you can't say that. You got to watch out what you say, and eventually the thing's going to swing back the other way. I guess probably.
I think look, I'm saying this to have kids, and I think that once you have kids, you become a little more sensitive in some ways, and maybe your perspective changes. But I don't ever want anyone to come to my show and to have the worst night of their life, right? I don't ever want that. I want everyone to have the greatest time they've ever had at my show. So if it takes me just being a little more attentive to other people's situations, I can totally do that. I can try my hardest, but I still mess up. I mean, I had some joke about my wife, and it really incensed some lady that I must have pressed some buttons with, and I was like, hey, talk to me, and I'll listen to your point of view, and if I don't like it, I'm not going to listen. But if I like it, you can change my mind. I think everyone should be a little... Just give everyone a benefit of the doubt, going no one's trying to out there trying to ruin your life. Yeah.
You want everybody to have a good time. Maybe occasionally there's going to be one person that their good time is getting upset. In their mind, if that's how I have a good time, I go and find things that I get offended about.
Yeah, and then I provide that to you also. I can accommodate both.
All right. Well, it sounds like you're having a blast. Save some of it for when you come back through the United States into Texas specifically. And when is the movie coming out? When do you think the machines? Is this with Netflix or is that something else?
Well, no, I think it's in movie theaters. I think. I mean, that's what we're hoping. But yeah, we should be. I mean, look, if we sell it to Netflix, I'd be just as happy. I've had a great experience at Netflix. But yeah, I think it's coming out in movie theaters in probably January, February, or March.
Okay. All right. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll probably talk to you before you're in Texas in December, so we'll catch up a little bit later down the road. But stay safe and tell Mark Hamill we said hi, I guess.
I will. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I will see you. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Bert. Bye-bye. There's Bert Kreischer, who is in Serbia. I got to go get that checked. I never thought I had a real dyslexia problem, but I swear to God, I thought it said
Siberia.
I thought it was Siberia.
And they're 6,000 miles away from each other.
It doesn't matter how far away they are. They have the same letters.
Yeah.
That's what screws
On
me
the
up.
alphabet, they're very
And I
close.
looked up the time for Siberia earlier.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is actually 4:09 p.m. in Serbia.
Right. So as far away
We were
as
all messed up.
Siberia.
In Siberia, it was already tonight.
Right.
Oops, we just got yelled at.
Why?
We weren't supposed to have him on for 2 segments.
Oh, no. Who yelled at us?
The main guy that we get the interviews through.
Alan?
He goes, you guys just destroyed the schedule for everybody
Oh
else.
no! I saw a thing that specifically
Okay,
said.
first of all,
Bert likes to. Did you guys read that
Okay.
part? He likes to do 2
Bert
segments.
did tell me that he only had until the top of the hour. But when Buzz said, hey, can you go for another
right, listen,
segment?
listen.
I thought Bert was like, yeah, that's totally cool.
I'll tell you what. This is just basically. I'm telling you guys and everybody else is listening in. I got a good relationship with the guy who sets up Bert's interviews, so I'll
Al?
call it Alan.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'll call him. I think I'll point out to him. One of the things you said is, hey, Bert likes to do 2 segments.
Yeah. Buzz is like, look, this isn't my fault. This
I
is
thought
yours.
when Buzz said, hey, do you want to go for another segment? And Bert was like, cool. I thought it was okay.
Well, I did.
I thought you got it approved, dude.
I thought I did too.
Smooth machine
Bert
over here,
said
everybody.
okay.
Yeah, Bert did say okay, so I think we really need to be blaming him for this mess up.
Well, I was confused about the part where it said, unlike most comics, Bert likes to get into it to do at least 2 segments.
So you thought that meant, hey, downskis, let's do 2.
Yeah, it says
what
right
I
here,
thought.
the one thing that Bert is asking is that he would like to spend a minimum of 2 breaks or 15 to 20 minutes with the stations he does, if possible.
Hey, it was possible.
Yeah, that's what I was going
the
It
on.
was
only
possible.
problem is we went because you're not taking into account the commercial break.
Commercials, right.
So that actually goes into the 15 to 20 minutes.
So I'm going to blame Buzz.
Honestly, I try to do things like the way they're laid out, and if somebody's got a direction or whatever.
Oh,
but
it says
this
right
one
here,
was.
Bert will be calling from Serbia.
Yeah, no, that was all that's definitely all on me. It definitely said Serbia, and my brain.
It was said Siberia again.
I almost did it in that second.